My favourite thing about school is the teachers. I think they're really nice and friendly and they make me feel welcome. And I also like getting good grades because it makes me feel good about myself and I feel proud when I do it. And also, it's kind of like the thing that I'm good at. Like, some people are like known for being really funny, other people are really sporty. I do well at school. That's like kind of like the thing that I'm good at. I have a lot of amazing friends and they're very supportive. Like, when I'm upset, they're there for me, but sometimes don't really like the same stuff as they do, so often I find it hard to find common interests with a lot of people. My favourite subject is Japanese all the way. I like Japanese because it's very fun. It's very good communicating in another language because you know that somewhere around the world that's how people always talk and they're probably learning English, your language. Japanese is like also my favourite class because I have a lot of friends in there and it's a really small class. I want to be a linguist definitely because I really like speaking different languages, and I also like learning about the history of languages because I've always wanted to know when people started talking. I design clothes, but I don't actually make them, I just draw them. I write sometimes, I sing, I listen to my iPod, I talk to people, although that's not really a hobby. I do little athletics, I do Russian, and I think about Eastern Europe, basically.
At the time that I went to the current school, I'd already been told by a couple of principals that, their school wasn't funded enough or wasn't prepared enough or didn't have the resources. And at this particular school it was basically the antithesis. It was, why wouldn't we have it? As a parent, it just sold me. An inclusive school looks exactly the same as any other school on the planet. What's different about it is what's unsaid, and that's that your child is accepted for who they are, so that the ability within the disability is actually drawn out, and that's what's fostered. An inclusive school, I think, also has to be willing to think a little bit more creatively, and the educational experience, not only in terms of the academic curricula, but in the whole school experience. You've got to go around and visit, you've got to talk to the people, you've got to meet the principal, but also just go around the school and just get a feel for it. It actually seems to be all about the relationships, because you've got to feel you can trust the school, but that you can also be honest with the school if you think that something's not working out, so that they can look at it from their side.
When Rachel came to the school, what I learned out of that was that time is a real asset in terms of being able to change people's perceptions, because I think if you don't give people time to adjust and become accustomed to difference, then it becomes very stressful. So people need to look at the long term rather than the instant, the moment that we're in right now. I taught Rachel math and she hasn't really had any issues with content, so it was more about how do we get Rachel to strengthen and form relationships and be able to work with people in group situations, which she did fantastically well. Occasionally there were challenges and she would come and say to me, Mr. Kruger, this is not quite going right, and we would try and sort it out, and without fail her peers around her stepped up to the plate. As far as treating Rachel and her family any differently, I don't believe that I did. When things got a little bit tough for Rachel, we worked through those in conjunction with her peers, and the feel of the classroom and the culture that we had in the classroom was very accepting. For me, it's been about having the other kids embrace diversity in the classroom and to be able to see that it's okay to be different in a community. And it's not just for the kids, because the teachers have also come on board. As Rachel's grown up and the teachers have become accustomed to how she deals with different circumstances, there's not that anxiety anymore. And so that's a pleasing thing, because that's what inclusion's about.
Paul was a standout at the school for being easy to contact. If I had an issue, I knew that Paul would acknowledge it, deal with it, and would communicate with me. and I knew I could trust him. It's interesting that from his perspective, it didn't take much time, but from the parents' perspective, I was blown over.